Hello everyone, I'm Michelle and I am a first-year pre-psychology major. After spending the past school year actively involved with PAC, I'm excited to announce that I'm running for treasurer for the 2026 to 2027 school year and happily accept my nomination. Based on my experience with different leadership positions in high school, I believe I have the right skills to strengthen our incoming cabinet as a whole, as well as challenge our group to think outside of the box. In high school, I was class president for 2 years before I took upon the role of Associated Student Body Secretary my junior year and eventually ASB Treasurer my senior year. On top of these commitments, I also participated in an organization called the California Association of Student Leaders, where I was a Northern Freshman Director during 2021 to 2022, and in the following year, I was a Northern Regional Director. All fancy titles aside, what I basically did all of high school was create a space for others to feel free to share what's on their minds and helped students across the state of California redefine what it means to be a leader. Even though I consider that part of my life, certainly in the past, I was taught how to communicate, collaborate, to think holistically, and most importantly, how an organization is built upon a foundation that we have to nurture. One part of that foundation is the financial aspect of this club. As someone who is the youngest and has older siblings that went through college, I witnessed many conversations between my siblings and my parents about saving money. Many years have passed and I might have found myself in that same boat, but unlike my sisters, I have their experiences and my own accumulated knowledge to keep me in line when it comes to expenses. To be a trusting treasurer, I believe it not only takes organization, dedication, and responsibility, but also a factor that differentiates a person counting dollars and an actual treasurer, ambition. At this point of my life, I feel like I have so much to give and definitely embody these characteristics. To circle back to qualities that I mentioned, I want you all to understand my ambitions for the upcoming year if I'm granted this opportunity. To prepare for today, I researched grants that our club qualifies for and also plan on putting it into the works for our club to be officially sponsored by local businesses or also larger corporations. These two options may take a longer period of time to achieve, but I think it's important for us to start this process regardless of how long it takes, because the future generations will surely benefit from these financial support systems. To take on this task, I hope to plan alongside the Assistant Treasurer and Secretary, primarily in the summer and early fall 2026, to execute this idea to the best of our abilities. Another conversation that I'd like to foster is that if there's any way we can make money from existing or new events. For example, I can communicate with the philanthropy chair if we can create a fundraising event that can bring awareness to a local organization in need of recognition and also reasonably split the earnings between them and us. When it comes to some logistical details that I'd like to refine, I would like to organize 2 Google Drives or folders. One that can be accessible to all CAB members and one for the executive board to look at more closely. For the collective CAB finance folder, that will include budget breakdowns for each event, but also a spreadsheet where I can track where money is coming in from, that's fundraisers and new events, and where it'll go, which account, and whether it will be sent to the other executive finance folder. For this next folder, it will help me organize progress I've made with grants and sponsorships, and also track the flow of our overall budget. Even as I'm writing this speech, I'm thinking to myself, dang girl, you really are trying to be ambitious. But nonetheless, I believe these are new conversations that I would love to have with anyone who would like to contribute to my brain dump. It will gladly lay the groundwork for others to follow the path I'm still mixing the concrete for. My ambition doesn't end with my responsibility as treasurer, but also fuels my fire to work closely with everyone on CAB. Fundamentally to my core, I'm an outgoing person that loves to connect with those around me. But one thing I want future CAB to understand is that outside of my trolling and rage baiting, nothing means more to me than pure, genuine connection and friendship. I mention this because I fully believe that being able to trust the people you work with elevates our group chemistry to where we can put out the best content and experience possible for our Gen members. I would like the opportunity to persuade my future colleagues to believe in this idea too, and will happily collaborate with eBoard to cultivate a positive environment for everyone to enjoy. I don't want to just work with you, but I want the chance to understand you and find solutions together to connect on a deeper level. I'd like to think that people would want to get to know me too, and I hope to put my best foot forward in any situation. I wish creating connections and getting to know other people was a major. Oh well, I guess that's why I picked psychology. I've always been curious about the world around me, and in my head, I'm always questioning why things are the way they are or how it can be done differently. But I love how my curiosity and belief and connection impact my life every day. Without it, I wouldn't have stumbled upon PAC and meet friends that will be stuck with me for quite some time. Shout out Chingus! As treasurer, I want to do my best to create an even better experience for everyone and to keep the momentum going. To do so, I want to be as vocal and present as I can, show everyone how truly unique this club is, and to motivate members to stay active and participate. What I'm saying is I just want people to see PAC how I see it, something so interesting to keep coming back for more and to show up for our events. More specifically to the fundraisers because they're so fun and exciting and bring in more money for us to prolong this adventure that we're in. Honestly, after I've listened to everyone's speeches and have heard a variety of goals for the upcoming year, I can't wait to start. Regardless of who I'll be in the next year, my passion will remain the same and I will still persist for us to challenge what our club is so that we can all grow as one unit, one club, and one family. I hope I have inspired the people listening to me right now to live with a little bit more curiosity and to stay curious for what I have in store for this club. Thank you.
All right. Now we're gonna start open up with all the questions. So Saf, I'll have you go first.
Okay. So a fellow CAB member is asking for a bigger event budget and won't take no for an answer. You believe that you have given them a reasonable amount. How would you go about this situation and put your foot down with your decision?
My first approach to handling situations is always to have a heartfelt conversation about it. I want them to understand that me picking how much a member is given for an event isn't based on how well their event is or like how much, where was I going with that? Isn't based on like whether or not I like the event or like if other people like the event, but based on the resources that we have available to supply for that event. I think it's important to know that there are alternative options when it comes to like having money for an event and like when it's decorations and like things that you want to give to members. I think that individual will have to really prove to me why it's a reasonable thing to spend more money for something. And I'm still willing and open to having a conversation even though they keep telling me no, just so they understand where I'm coming from and why I made the decision that I made.
All right. The next question is coming from Landon.
Michelle, what's the most difficult situation you've been in and how did you navigate through it?
The most difficult situation that I was personally put through, it was my sophomore year in high school where I was serving on such state board, and I was at a conference for a regional or a region conference for student leaders in a certain part of California and our venue was in a territory that I'd say was very sketchy and kind of controversial to be in, to host around 1,200 students to learn more about leadership. And I was told to help facilitate a keynote speaker and to tell her, hey, I think you need to continue asking more questions, because she was hosting a Q&A with the students at the time. And I was told, hey, there's serious things happening outside. And I think you and your colleagues, me and my 3 friends who are working this event, were told we need to put our faces on. We need to be professional in this situation. And regardless of what dangerous activity was happening outside, these delegates cannot know what is happening so that it doesn't change their experience and that these people will come back next year for the same event. Of course, we couldn't control what was happening, outside, but in that moment, I felt a lot of pressure. I was the, not alumni, but the returning member for out of that group, so people looked to me to figure out what to do. And even in that moment, like, someone younger than me was crying, not knowing like how to handle their own emotions and take the fact that we were told just go with it and do your best. So moving forward, we put on our smile, we huddled together, said we will do this, we will get through this together, and regardless of what we're doing, we'll know that we did our best. We did that. Everything was fine. The event went as it was supposed to go. The adults outside were able to figure out the situation. I think that time I had the most conflict of my own emotions and what I'm supposed to do, but in the end, I thought of the importance that this event was for these delegates and put their emotions first before my own.
Okay, the next question's coming from Noel.
If two different cabinet members come up to you asking for a budget for their events, but the club only has enough funds for one, how would you handle that situation?
Is the event on the same day, or like they're coming up in the future? Like in the general like area, like a week or two, a month or two apart? Okay. Okay. Of course, first having a conversation. I think it's important to emphasize that the money that we have isn't just laying around for fun. It already has a purpose elsewhere, and the reason why it's put to that to these two members is for them to responsibly use that amount of money. I again believe that there's always an alternative. I will be first to bring up an alternative. Maybe there's a member that may like depending on like what event it is. Of course, there's things that can be cut down, but I'll definitely find an alternative or like find another member that can help me find a better solution. And this conversation isn't just between me and these individuals, but if it's necessary, I will open it up to eBoard for their input of whether or not like more money should go to here, more money should go to there. And the reason why I ask whether or not it's spaced apart is so I know what exact resource I need to go and how fast I need to make this decision. Because if it's on the same day, obviously I can't. There's the time's clicking, or if it's on the same day. But if there's more time in between, like we'll definitely maybe try and put in another fundraiser if they really think it's necessary. Yeah, I think I answered.
The next question is coming from Sarah.
Can you name all the accounts that PAC holds income in, and what are they used for?
Okay, first we have the grants. That's what my position will have to write or like submit an application to get money from ASI, and those grants fund PPN, PXF, PGrad, PPN, PGrad. What am I thinking? PXF. Oh, PCN. LOL. And then next, there's the agency accounts, and that's where the reimbursements are for. Like, for example, AKA if anything's spent for that, but also any other event that CAB members hold. And then there's also the Venmo when that is between SAF and, no, it doesn't go to Sandra, but there is a Venmo account. Oh, between SAF and Eli, there's two Venmo accounts. And like if there was a bank account, it'd be Wells Fargo, but I cannot confirm or deny if that exists.
And the next question is coming from
Yes, I can. So there's Saf, and then there's Kira, Araya, Sean, Jonathan, and shout out the one and only Clarice Jane Cabalto, Banci, my sister. And I had the opportunity to talk in person and like collaborate or like just talk with staff. And I also asked a few questions to Kira just to get her input. You said critique, right? Okay. I think Saf, you did such an amazing job staying organized and like being assertive and also like you understand what your job is and you're not afraid of like having to say hard words to like enforce that. I think the only thing I would critique is like seeing more of your personality. You know, I saw part of your personality when I met you at Tasty for AKA Social. I don't even know if you remember that. But I was like, wow, like she's so fun and so silly. And then like other events, like I didn't see you as much like up there talking, but that's okay. I know like that's like who you are or like that's like what you were able to do. I think that's just the general for like, I just wish I saw you more. But that's just coming from me as a first year.
The next question is coming from Landon.
After your term as treasurer, what do you want people to remember you for? Or in other words, what legacy do you want to leave?
That's for Gen members or future CAB?
Oh,
Okay. I would like to say I feel like I lead with my heart on my sleeve. I always prioritize like how people feel first, and I want CAB to understand like whatever emotion that you're going through, I'll be there to listen to you and try my best to understand from your perspective. I think that's my number one thing for CAB members. And for GEM members, I think my legacy, I'd want them to know that like, even though people view like even secretary and treasurer being like more of a background job, that it's still important and it still has a meaning. Whether like they understand that or not, like there's a purpose for why we're here and why we do the tasks that we do. And yeah.
The next question is coming from Sal.
Do you have any rewards ideas for PAC currency?
I thought about this, and I think the only thing outside of like obviously doing snacks, and personally I really liked the CAB Dash Pass. That was really nice that I got that. Definitely running that back again for next year. But my new idea is I want to create like a rave trinket basket. Do what you will with that information. I think like whether that's like putting a patch in there, putting like sunglasses, or like even if like maybe like a small little bracelet making kit. I don't know if that's like still a thing, like if people still want the bracelets, but I think they're cute. And also those like little sprout things like that people like wear, but just like things like that, like that I think people would like being gifted instead of like going out of their way to buy themselves. Yeah, I think that's my one idea.
Going back to staff again.
Sorry, I forgot to ask. How are you going to gain the trust of people who have more CAB experience than you as you are running for e-board as a first year?
As I said in my speech, I prioritize connection, and gaining someone's trust and e-board's trust and all of CAB's trust is the first thing I want to do if I'm granted this position, because it just allows me to do so much more like with my position, knowing that I have this support and trust with the people that I'm working with. And I hope they think of me not as like a little girl that doesn't know how to do anything, but as someone that like really wants to truly work with them. Yeah, and I don't want to just be like colleagues or something. Like, I want you to know what my favorite color is. Or I want you to know like when my birthday is, things like that. Like, I want to know everything about everyone, and I hope that like in the end will help me like help us together elevate both of our positions or all of our positions.
And then the next question is coming from Rochelle.
E-Board is responsible for overseeing various positions on cabinet. Can you name which CAB positions each E-Board member oversees?
I do not think I know that answer 100%, but I do understand that I will for sure reach out to eBoard, current eBoard to find the answer. But I think off the record, like I think like IVP oversees PR and historian ? I do not know if that's correct, but I will 100% check in with people who hold positions right now to find that answer.
The next question is coming from Glenn.
What are the pillars of PAC, and what are some ways you can use your position to support every pillar?
So the pillars, that would be membership and cultural and philanthropy and academic. And you said the second portion of the question?
What are some ways you would use your position to support every pillar?
I think based on like my plans already for the incoming year, I hope that my organizational plan for like the budget breakdowns and like having that folder be organized helps these pillars kind of alleviate the stress that they have, like where things are. I want to, with the pillars, definitely create that trust so that they know, like, if they have a question about their budgets, like, they can come talk to me about that. And through where the money is going, like, on my budget spreadsheets and things like that, I'll be able to, like, tell them, hey, maybe you have more, there's a surplus and you can have this, or things like that. And also, like, as a person in general, like, even though I'm not fully educated about what each position, or like I do understand what each position what each position does, like, on a surface level, I want to take the time over summer or during the retreats to, like, learn more about them and their goals on a deeper level so that I know how to move forward with supporting them.
Okay, next one's for me. As a woman on e-board, how do you plan to address the possibility of not receiving the same respect as other males on CAB, especially with your, Yes, as a woman on e-board, how do you plan to address the possibility of not receiving the same respect as your other male colleagues on CAB?
Because I've held positions before in high school, I've actually never faced this situation where people didn't respect me based off of my gender. I think I've always held myself at a high degree to be someone that understands, but also be someone that has a responsibility and a job to do. I think I hold a lot of potential to be assertive in situations where it needs to be, regardless of what other people will think of me. And I understand that other people can take that the wrong way and think of me negatively, but if they do have an issue, I still want them to feel free to talk to me about it. Because maybe if there's something that I said that they thought was offensive, I'll for sure to filter that or like change how I talk to other people based on that conversation that we have. But I am confident as a person, and I think that will shine for when I need to take initiative or like be assertive.
How do you think being a first year on e-board can actually benefit you?
I think being a first year on eBoard actually motivates me to learn faster than others, because even though like we're gonna go through this experience, like me and other first years or like incoming second years onto the position, I want the time to absorb what I can about CAB, about eBoard as fast as I can, so that I can put myself out there as someone to go to. I think I have a unique opportunity to see different aspects about CAB, and I think I am still very open-minded now, but even after this experience, I think I will be even more open-minded because I hear more perspectives. And I think, yeah, I understand that there are lessons that I still need to learn, and I'm more than happy to like be a student first under my CAB Kuya Napez.